Our next topic is classification of elements. Elements can be classified as active and passive, linear and non-linear, unidirectional and bidirectional, time variant and time invariant, lumped and distributed. First we'll take the classification of active and passive. What is an active element? When the element is capable of delivering energy independently for a long time, then it is an active element, like a voltage source or a current source that can deliver power independently. Or other definition is when the element is having property of internal amplification, then it is called active element. Internal amplification means adding power to the existing power. That means internal amplification. So for this example are transistor and operational amplifier that internally amplifies the signal. Passive element. What is a passive element? When the element is not capable of delivering energy independently, then it is called passive element. Examples are resistor, bulb, transformer. For a transformer, V1 I1 is equal to V2 I2. The power on both sides of the transformer is equal, so it is not adding more power. So it is a passive element. For a capacitor or an inductor, during discharging they both delivers the energy independently, but for a short time only, and they also do not amplify the signal. Now with the help of a plot of Vi, I will tell you how we can identify an active element or a passive element. This is the characteristic of an element, Vi characteristic of an element. For an element to be active, it should have negative slope anywhere. Like this plot has negative slope here, so it is an active element. In this plot Vi, there is no negative slope, so it is a passive element. The next classification is linear and non-linear. For an element to be linear, its Vi characteristic should be a straight line passing through the origin. All other elements are non-linear. Let's take some examples. This is a Vi characteristic. This is linear, as it is a straight line passing through the origin. This is also linear. This is a straight line passing through the origin. This is non-linear, as this is a straight line not passing through the origin but originating from the origin. This is also non-linear. These are two straight lines, not a single straight line. This is also non-linear, as it passes through the origin but it's not a straight line. From here it flattens. This is also non-linear, not a straight line. Non-linear, not passing through the origin but originating from it. This is also non-linear, not a straight line. This is also non-linear, not a straight line. The next classification of elements is unidirectional and bidirectional. For an element to be bidirectional, its properties and characteristics should have to be independent of the direction of the current. In these two networks, I have reversed the polarity of the voltage source V. The currents are I1 and I2 in reverse directions. If I1 and I2 are equal, then X is bidirectional, or we can say bilateral. This statement, characteristics are independent of the direction of the current, signifies that the characteristics in the two quadrants 1 and 3 should be same, or 2 and 4 should be same. Symmetry in 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, then the element will be bidirectional. directional. Now the second statement is written if an element offers same impedance when direction or polarity of the voltage or current is reversed. We can see these three examples for the above statement. In this example, the voltage for voltage V1 the current is I1, for voltage minus V1 the current is minus I1. The symmetry is in quadrant 1 and 3. It also implies that if we calculate the impedance Z1 for this quadrant 1, it will be equal to V1 upon I1, which will be equal to, let's say, Z. For this quadrant, Z2 will be equal to minus V1 upon minus I1, will be equal to V1 upon I1, that will be equal to Z. It implies Z1 is equal to Z2. So the impedance is independent of the polarity or direction of the voltage or current. Let's take this example. Again, Z1 is equal to 4 volts upon 4 ampere, which is equal to 1 ohm. For this quadrant, Z2 is equal to minus 4 volts upon minus 4 ampere, which is equal to 1 ohm, which is equal to Z1. So this is also bidirectional. The first example was also bidirectional. In this example, let's calculate Z1, which is equal to 8 volts upon 4 amperes, which will be equal to 2 ohm. For this quadrant, Z2 is equal to minus 6 volts upon minus 4 amperes, which is equal to 1.5 ohm, which is not equal to Z1. So this element is unidirectional. The next classification is time variant and time invariant. For an element to be time invariant, its VI plot should be independent of time always. Let's take a plot. VI t is equal to T1, t is equal to T2, t is equal to T3. For this plot, the VI characteristics are dependent of time. For T1 the characteristic is this, for T2 the characteristics is this, and for T3 the characteristics is this. So it is time variant. VI for all t. This characteristic is same for all values of time. So this is time invariant. Next classification is lumped and distributed. This is R, this is C, this is L. These elements are lumped at one point. R is accumulated at this point, C is accumulated at this point, and L is accumulated at this point. This is a lump circuit. For a transmission line, this is a transmission line. The elements R, C and L are distributed over a length. Like R is not accumulated at one point, it is distributed over the whole length. Similarly, the capacitor is distributed over the whole length, C1, C2, Cn, like this. Similarly, the inductor is also distributed over the whole length. R1, L1, R2, L2, like this. So it is a distributed network. The next discussion will be about voltage source and current source along with voltmeter and ammeter. Here is the voltage source Vs, which is supplying current I, and the voltage across the terminal is V. This is a DC circuit. This is an AC circuit. The voltage source is VST, the current is supplied is IT, and the voltage across the terminal is VT. The internal resistance RS in this voltage source is 0. Similarly, here also it is 0. So the characteristics for this voltage source will be like this: constant V. This is for I. From this characteristic we can see that the voltage is independent of the current supplied. This is an ideal voltage source. For an ideal voltage source, the delivered energy at a specified voltage is independent of the current delivered by the source, as we have already discussed. This is the circuit for a voltage source with an internal resistance Rs. This is a practical voltage source. This current supplied is I and the terminal voltage is V. This for DC circuit. For AC circuit, the voltage source is VST, the internal impedance is ZS, and the current supplied is IT and the terminal voltage is VT. The characteristics for this practical voltage source will be like this. This is V. This is I. So with increasing value of I, the voltage across the terminal will decrease like this. For this, Vs is equal to V plus I Rs. So V will be equal to Vs minus I Rs. So the terminal voltage will decrease with increase in value of I. Internal resistance of ideal voltage source equals to 0. Rs is equal to 0. We have already discussed. Practical voltage source delivers energy at a specified voltage which depends on current delivered by the source. It is dependent upon the current delivered by the source I. V is equal to Vs minus I Rs. Now we will discuss the voltmeter. For an ideal voltmeter, internal resistance equals to infinity. R, M we can say, will be equal to infinity. For this circuit, we can write the KVL like this: minus Vs plus, as the Rm is equal to infinity, this is an ideal voltmeter. This is internal resistance which is equal to infinity. So the current will be 0 amperes plus 0 into Rs plus Vm is equal to 0. It implies that Vm will be equal to Vs. This is for practical voltmeter. This was an ideal. This is practical. In this case, the voltage Vm will be according to the voltage division rule, which is Vm is equal to Rm upon Rs plus Rm into Vs. In this case, Rm is very high but not equal to infinity. Let's consider these illustrations for further understanding of the voltage source. In this case, terminal voltage V will be equal to V1 plus V2. We can also draw this as a single voltage source V1 plus V2. V is equal to V1 plus V2. In this case, the circuit can be drawn as V1 minus V2 if V1 is greater than V2, or V2 minus V1 if V2 is greater than V1. In this case, it can be drawn as V1 is equal to V2. For this, we can neglect this resistance R, and it can be redrawn as V only. For this also, current source I can be neglected. It can be redrawn as V only. Let's take a question. Find the current in 2 ohm resistor. This is the 2 ohm resistor. This voltage source is 10 volts. This voltage source is 20 volts. All of these three are connected in parallel. Options are 5 ampere, 10 ampere, 15 ampere, or none. Or we can say not satisfying KVL or 0. The correct answer is D, none. Because this circuit is not satisfying KVL. For KVL to be satisfied, the value of voltages in parallel should be equal. With respect to KVL, voltage across all the parallel branches should be equal. Let's take another example. There are 2 voltage sources in parallel, each of 10 volts. The resistance is of 2 ohm in parallel of these voltage sources. We have to calculate the current I. We can further reduce this circuit as a single voltage source of 10 volts with a resistance 2 ohm. So the current I will be equal to 10 by 2 equal to 5 amperes. Let's apply superposition for this circuit. Case 1. For superposition to be applied, one of the voltage sources have to be short circuited. So I have short circuited this voltage source. Short circuit. As the resistance of this short circuit is 0, this is 2 ohm, so the whole current will go from this branch, and current from this branch will be I dash is equal to 0. Case 2 will be like this. This side of the voltage source is short circuited. This is 2 ohm and this is 10 volts. Again the whole current will go from this short circuit, so the current in this will be I double dash is equal to 0. Total current, total I will be equal to I dash plus I double dash, which is equal to 0. The answer from this solution is 5 ampere, and from this solution it is 0 ampere. This answer is correct, 5 ampere, 0 is wrong. We have a note here. For this network, superposition cannot be applied because case 1 and 2 are not satisfying the KVL. This Voltage across this voltage source is 10 volts. Voltage across this short circuit is 0 volt. This can't be possible as they both are in parallel. Same case is here. So superposition cannot be applied for this case. Let's again draw this circuit. If we want to calculate the power delivered by both the voltage sources, we can solve it like this. This is current 5 ampere. By the symmetry we can see that the equal currents will be coming from both the sides. So this current will be 2.5 ampere and this current will also be 2.5 ampere. So if we want to calculate delivered by this voltage source, which will be equal to P1, let's say, which is equal to 10 volts into 2.5 amperes, which will be equal to 25 watt. For this voltage source, P2 is equal to 10 into 2.5 is equal to 25 watt. This is also delivered. For this resistance, power absorbed will be 5 square 2 I square R. I is 5 and R is 2. This will be equal to 25 into 2 is equal to 50 watt. Total power delivered is 25 watt plus 25 watt, which is 50 watt. Power absorbed is 50 watt. So power delivered is equal to power absorbed. Let's take another example. In this circuit, a 20 volt voltage source is given. In parallel 2 ohm resistance is given and load resistances are 5 ohm and 5 ohm. This 20 volt will be distributed as 10 volts and 10 volts. We can see that the current in this branch is 20 divided by total resistance, which is 10. Current is 2 ampere. 2 ampere. In this branch the current is 20 divided by 2, 10 ampere. Total current is 12 ampere. IS, source current supplied by the source is 12 ampere. Power supplied by the sources PS is equal to 20 volts into 12 ampere, which is equal to 240 watts. If we neglect this 2 ohm resistance to calculate the current in this branch, 5 ohm, 20 volts. The current in this branch is 20 divided by 5 plus 5, which is equal to 2 ampere. If we calculate the source current and source power, IS dash is equal to, the current is 2 ampere, IS dash is 2 ampere, PS dash is equal to 20 into 2, which is equal to 40 watts. The result coming 240 watts and 40 watts are different. Why is this happening? Because we have neglected this 2 ohm resistance. For calculating the load current or load voltage is again same, 10 volts and 10 volts. For calculating the load currents and load voltages, the 2 ohm resistance can be neglected, but to calculate the source current or source power, we cannot neglect the 2 ohm resistance. If I draw a circuit like this, minus V I, I can redraw the circuit as but this circuit will work if we want to calculate the load current or load voltage. Again, for calculating the source current or source power, we cannot neglect this current source I. We have to consider this. We will discuss the current source now. Here is the current source IS with internal resistance RS is equal to infinity in parallel, which is delivering the current I and the terminal voltage is V. This is for DC circuit. For AC circuit, the current source is IST, delivering current IT, and voltage across the terminal is VT. If we draw the characteristics of this current source I, V, it will be a constant, right? I, S. RS is equal to infinity, open circuit. This is an ideal current source. For a practical current source, this is IS and the source resistance is in parallel RS, which is drawing current I dash, and the remaining current I is going towards the load. The terminal voltage is V. This is a DC circuit. For AC circuit, the current source is IST, delivering current IT, terminal voltage is VT, source impedance is ZS connected in parallel of IST. The characteristics will be like this. This is I, V. The current is decreasing with an increase in value of voltage. This is the current supplied to the load, which is decreasing with an increase in voltage V. So the ideal current source delivers energy at a specified current independent of voltage across the source, which is constant. Internal resistance of ideal current source equals to infinity. R is equal to infinity. Practical current source delivers energy at a specified current which depends on voltage across the source. In this case, we can see that IS is equal to I plus I dash. I is equal to IS minus I dash, which is equal to IS minus V upon RS. So the current delivered by the current source is IS minus V by RS, dependent upon the voltage across the source V. Now we will discuss the ammeter. For ideal ammeter, internal resistance equals to 0. This is the current source IS, source resistance RS, which is very high. This is an ideal ammeter with internal resistance Rm is equal to 0. Now this is a practical ammeter with a certain value of Rm, and this is current source IS with a source resistance RS in parallel. We can see that the value of AM, as this Rm is 0 and RS is very high, so the current coming in AM is IS. In this case, the current in AM will be distributed like RS upon RS plus Rm into IS. This is the current division rule. Let's see some illustrations for better understanding of current source. These are the two current sources in parallel. We can redraw this as a single current source with value I1 plus I2. The currents are added for the two current sources that are connected in parallel. For this case, it can be redrawn as I1 minus I2 if I1 is greater than I2, or I2 minus I1 if I2 is greater than I1. In this case it can be redrawn as I1 or I2. For this case it can be redrawn as a single current source I. Here this resistance in series can be neglected. Here this voltage source in series can be neglected, so it can be redrawn as single current source I. Here is the question: find current in 2 ohm resistor. This is the circuit with two current sources in series, 20 ampere and 10 ampere, with a resistance in series of 2 ohm. The options are 10 ampere, 20 ampere, 30 ampere and none, or not satisfying KCL. The correct answer is none, or not satisfying KCL, as in a series the value of current should be equal, and here the two current sources 10 ampere and 20 ampere are not equal. So with respect to KCL, current flowing through all the series elements should be equal. Let's solve this example. This is a current source of 6 ampere with a series resistance 2 ohm. The load resistances are 5 ohm and 5 ohm. The current source is of 6 ampere, so here the current is 6 ampere, which will be distributed equally in these two resistors of 5 ohm, 3 ampere, 3 ampere. The voltage across these two resistors are 3 into 5, 15 volts. 15 volts. The voltage across this 2 ohm resistor is, the current is in this direction, so here it is plus and here it is minus. The voltage across this resistor is 6 into 2, 12 volts. This is source voltage. Applying KVL in this loop, minus Vs plus 12 plus 15 is equal to 0. Vs is equal to 27 volts. Power supplied by the source PS is equal to 27 volts into current supplied is 6 ampere, which is equal to 162 watt. As this resistor 2 ohm is in series, as this resistor 2 ohm is in series with the current source 6 ampere, so it can be neglected and the circuit can be redrawn as 6 ampere, 5 ohm, 5 ohm. Now the current is distributed equally, 3 ampere, 3 ampere. Voltage is 15 volts, 15 volts. Here also it is 15 volts. If we want to calculate the power supplied by the current source is 15 into 6, which is equal to 90 watt. Here PS dash is equal to 15 volts. This is PS dash. You can see these two powers are different. So if we want to calculate the load current or load voltage, we can neglect this 2 ohm resistor. But if we want to calculate the source voltage and source power, we have to consider this 2 ohm resistor, as PS dash and VS dash both are different from PS and VS. So these are wrong and these are correct. Here is one more example. This is a network with a voltage source V in series with current source I. We can redraw this network as single current source I. V can be neglected, but it can only be neglected if we want to calculate the load current or load voltage. But in order to calculate the source voltage or source power, we cannot neglect this voltage source.